There we go. All right. I'm going to call this meeting to order. We're just going to go right into roll call. Ms. Jaskula? Here. Mr. Luke?
Here.
Mr. Smaxton?
Here.
Mr. Romana is not here, and Mr. Hoffman.
Here.
We're going to do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We move on to the administration of oath to election board officers. Do the election of the board of president and the administration of the oath of office. So do I have any nominations for the president and board of education?
I'll nominate Courtney Jaskula for president of the Manans Board of Education.
A second.
And
Then do we vote?
yep, you guys vote.
So all in favor, aye.
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 I think that's all the cheat sheet. You have the cheat
No.
sheet next to you. So you just write. So, Courtney, you can repeat after me.
Okay, I'll just stand up. I don't know what I do.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the President of the Board of Education
of the President of the Board of Education
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Can you take one?
Oh, I do the next one. Board president will entertain nominations for vice president of the Board of Education. Do I have any nominations for vice president for the Board of Education? Anyone? I didn't know if you guys had talked.
I don't do myself.
I nominate Charlie Luke for board vice president.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, try to lose vice president. Now you do your oath, I think. Seemed like it was easier with Jeffersonville. I don't know. They just knew what they were doing. They were here for some reason.
I think we just flew through that. It's all good. Do I have to hold my hand up?
Oh, I do. Sorry. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Vice President of the Board of Education according to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Vice President of the Board of Education according to the best of my ability.
Charlie. We'll now administer the oath to Mrs. Canavo, Superintendent of Schools. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Superintendent of Schools to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Superintendent of Schools according to the best of my ability.
Okay, then we're going into 3 Board of Education appointments. This goes into regular resolutions, and Jason, I'm not sure if anybody told you how we handle resolutions. We rotate who reads them.
Yeah.
So it'll start with Charlie, and then, Charlie will read the resolution, Patrick will second, and then the next time Patrick will read the resolution, you'll second, and we rotate. So go ahead, could I get a resolution for the appointment of the district clerk?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby appoints Trish O'Connell as district clerk for the 25-26 school year.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And I think you need to read, we need yours almost now. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York,
I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the district clerk according to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the district clerk according to the best of my ability.
Great. Then item B, could I get a resolution for district treasurer?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby appoints Joanne Moran as district treasurer for the 2025-2026 school year.
Joanne's over.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Promise the next meeting won't be so clunky. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York,
I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of New York State,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the district treasurer according to the best of my ability.
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of district treasurer to the best of my abilities.
Oh, we didn't have a cheat sheet. I read too much on it.
I didn't read it.
All right, item C, could I get a resolution for a deputy treasurer?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby appoints Kathleen Wiley as the deputy treasurer for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York,
Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the deputy treasurer according to the best of my ability.
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the deputy treasurer according to the best of my ability.
Could I get a resolution for item D, appointment of claims auditor?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby appoints Michael Wolf as claims auditor for the 25-26 school year per the enclosed contract, and also the oath will be administered by the board clerk at a different time.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item E, appointment of attendance officer. Could I get a resolution, please?
Sorry. All right.
Item E.
Yeah, no, sorry, just taking a second to
Oh,
load.
gotcha.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby appoints Trish O'Connell as attendance officer for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I'll administer the oath. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York,
I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the attendance officer according to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the attendance officer according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. All right, that should be all of those. That takes us to item F, other appointments. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby approves the following individuals to carry out the appointments A to W as outlined below for the 2025-2026 school year. External auditors, Weston Company, school physician, medical director. That is
Yeah, you don't have to read through all of them. That's okay. You can just say A through W, that's
A
fine.
through W.
Second.
Does anybody have any questions about, it is a long list though, if you want to take a second to look at it, anyone have any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item G, Committee on Special Education Appointments. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby appoints the Committee on Special Education A through N for the 25-26 school year.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item H, Committee on Preschool Special Education Appointments. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby appoints the preschool committee on special education A through C for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item I, Audit Committee. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby appoints the audit committee A through G as listed for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Policy committee appointments. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby appoints the policy committee as listed A through I for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item K, impartial hearing officers. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District will follow the state regulations when an impartial hearing officer is needed for CSE, CPSE, and be it further resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education hereby authorizes the board president and vice president to appoint impartial hearing officers when necessary to comply with the due process requirements of the IDEA and regulations of the Commissioner of Education.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I lost where we are. Was that impartial hearing officers? I
Yes.
think we're on item 4, Board of Education designations.
Yeah.
Item A, could I get a resolution, please?
Be resolved, the Board of Education, okay. Be resolved, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby designate the regular monthly meeting of the Manans School Board of Education will be held on the following dates as listed.
Second.
Any questions on those dates? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, official bank depositories.
Oh, never getting into trouble here. Okay, we're good. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby designates Pioneer Savings Bank and NICLAS as the official depositories of district funds for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C, official newspaper. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby designates the Times Union as the official newspaper of the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Takes us to item 5, Board of Education authorizations. Item A, certification of payrolls. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent of schools and in the absence of the superintendent, the school business manager, district treasurer to certify payrolls for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5B, authorization for grant applications. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent and/or their designee to prepare and submit applications for federal programs and to accept federal monies that may result from the filing of such applications, with the acceptance being subject to final approval by the Board of Education. The person designated to execute public law for the district will be the superintendent of schools.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C, purchase orders. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent of schools and the deputy purchasing agent in the absence of the superintendent of schools to approve purchase orders as the purchasing agent.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item D, contracts. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education authorizes the superintendent of schools to approve contracts for the district up to $10,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item E, petty cash fund. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent of schools and the deputy purchasing agent in the absence of the superintendents of, oh, why is it on that?
Because it's taking a second to load.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, now I'm better now. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the establishment of a general fund petty cash account in the amount of $100 and designates Trish O'Connell as the custodian of the petty cash account. And be it further resolved that the superintendent of schools must approve expenditures from this account.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Takes us to item F, memberships. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the district to hold membership in the New York State School Boards Association, Capital District School Development Association, New York State Association of School Business Officials, and New York State Council of School Superintendents, New York State Association of School Personnel Administrators.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Item G, meetings and conferences. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby authorizes the attendance and superintendent of schools at district superintendent's meetings, appropriate conferences, seminars, and events, and authorizes the superintendent of schools to approve the attendance of other employees at appropriate conferences, meetings, and events.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item H, budget transfers. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent of schools to make necessary intra-fund and inter-fund budget transfers to a limit of $10,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item I, mileage. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the mileage rate for approved use of a personal vehicle for school business to be set at the fixed rate allowed by the IRS.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item J, investment of funds. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved, that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the district treasurer to invest funds as they become available. The treasurer shall report such investments as part of the regular treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item K, standard workday for ERS employees. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Menands Union Free School District hereby establishes either 7 or 8 hours as the standard workday for its civil service employees in the 25-26 school year, and will report days worked to New York State and local employees retirement system based on the timekeeping system or the record of activities maintained and submitted by these members to the clerk of this body, A through M.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're having technical difficulties over here.
Fantastic.
Item 6A, bonding of personnel. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Menands Union Free School District hereby approves the bonding of the personnel and the limits listed below for the 2025-2026 school year. The school business manager, district treasurer, and deputy treasurer are bonded in the amount of $1 million. All employees are bonded in the amount of $1 million.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution passes. Item 7, other approvals. A, Board of Education readoption of policies. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Menands Union Free School District hereby readopts all board policies and its code of ethics currently in effect as required by law and as recommended by the New York State Education Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Takes us to item 8. Could I get a motion to adjourn the reorganizational meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the reorganizational meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The reorganizational meeting is adjourned. Could I get a motion to start our regular meeting?
I'll make a motion to start the regular July board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know if we need a motion for that. That's okay. The regular meeting has been called to order. We already took roll call at the beginning, so can I get the approval of minutes?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Menands Union Free School District accept the minutes of the June 9th, 2025 regular meeting and the June 24th, 2025 special meeting.
Second.
Are there any questions on either of those? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 10, business matters, non-action items. Could I, oh no, we don't need a resolution for this. Did anybody have any questions on the warrant?
No.
Good,
Good.
okay. Then we'll move on to item 11, business matters, action items. A, contracts for approval. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education of the Menands Union Free School District hereby approves the following contracts A through F.
Second.
Anybody have any questions about any of the contracts?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, action items, municipal finance for capital projects.
Be it resolved by the Board of Education as follows. One, the firm of Bernard P. Dunnigan Incorporated is hereby designated municipal advisor to the Manans Union Free School District. Two, said firm shall be compensated for its services to be rendered in accordance with its letter of service dated June 20th, 2025. Three, the school district, Manans Union Free School District, is hereby authorized to execute and deliver said letter of services. Four, the resolution shall take effect immediately.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C, business office action items, BOCES cooperative bidding school year 2025-2026. This is a long one. Sorry, could I get a resolution, please?
Whereas the cooperative bidding purchasing service is a plan of a number of public school districts in the Board of Cooperative Educational Services of Albany, Schoharie, Schenectady, Saratoga Counties area, Capital Region BOCES, in New York, to bid jointly equipment, supplies, contractual items, as well as cafeteria commodities, including but not limited to food, beverages, and culinary items. And whereas the school district named below is desirous of participating with other districts in the Capital Region BOCES in the joint bidding of the items mentioned above, as authorized by General Municipal Law, Section 119-0. And whereas this resolution shall not preclude the school district named below from separately bidding equipment, supplies, and contractual items in those instances where only a single school district is seeking to make a purchase. And whereas the school district named below may at its option notify the Capital Region BOCES that it elects not to participate in a particular bid. And whereas the school district named below wishes to appoint the Capital Region BOCES to advertise for, bid, accept, tabulate bids, and award bids on their behalf, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the school district listed below hereby appoints the Capital Region BOCES to represent it in all matters relating above and designates the Daily Gazette newspaper as the legal publication for all related cooperative purchasing bid notifications. And be it further resolved that the Board of Education of the central school listed below authorizes the contract for the purchase of the above mentioned commodities and services. And be it further resolved that the Board of Education of the school district listed below agrees to: one, assume its equitable share of the cost of the cooperative bidding; two, abide by majority decisions of the participating districts; three, abide by the award of the BOCES board; four, and that after the award of the bid, it will conduct all negotiations directly with the successful bidder.
Second.
Any questions about that? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item D, business office action item, substitute pay rates. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Manans Union Free School District Board of Education hereby approves the 2025-2026 substitute rates of pay as listed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item E, action items, resolution for authorizing participation in cooperative energy purchasing service for natural gas. Could I get a resolution, please?
Whereas Article 5-G of the New York State General Municipal Law authorizes municipal cooperation or corporations to enter into cooperative agreements for the performance or exercise of services, functions, powers, or activities on a cooperative or contract basis among themselves or one or the other, and whereas Section 119-N of the General Municipal Law defines the term municipal corporation for the purpose of Article 5-G as a county outside of the city of New York, a city, a town, a village, a board of cooperative educational services, a fire district, or a school district. And whereas Manans Union Free School District, hereinafter sometimes referred to as participant, is a municipal corporation and defined above. And whereas this board wishes for the municipal corporation to become or remain a participant pursuant to the municipal cooperation agreement for energy purchasing services dated the first day of May 2005. The agreement among municipal corporations collectively identified as the New York School and Municipal Energy Consortium upon the terms of the agreement, and further wishes to authorize participation as an energy consumer as specified below. Now therefore be it resolved that this board hereby determines that it is in the interest of the Manans Union Free School District to participate in the NYSMEC and authorizes and directs the superintendent to sign the agreement and or the billing schedule and agreement for the natural gas on its behalf, and be it further resolved that this board authorizes the administrative participant as defined in the agreement to prepare, advertise, disseminate, and open bids pursuant to the general municipal law, and to award, execute, and deliver bidding contracts on behalf of the board for the purchase of natural gas delivered to the city gate of the local utility distribution company for the participant's facility or facilities on a firm basis for the participant, the lowest responsible bidder as is determined by the administrative participant at a price for such traditional commodity of natural gas to the city gate not to exceed 0.6450 per term, or for all in price not to be exceeded 71 cents per therm to the burner tip, which would include line losses that are currently billed separately for the term of at least 1 year and no more than 3 years, commencing May 1, 2026, and other terms and conditions, all as may be determined by the administrative participant, or to reject any or all such bids. And be it further resolved, participant agrees to advertise said bid as may be directed by the administrative participant. And be it further resolved that the participant authorizes receipt of bids and offers in electric format pursuant to section 1031 of the general municipal law and other applicable law. And be it further resolved that the officers and employees of this participant are authorized to execute such other confirming agreements, certifies and certificates and other documents, and take such other actions as may be necessary or appropriate to carry out the intent of the resolution. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Another long one, item
Brace
F,
yourself.
business office action item, resolution authorizing participation in cooperative energy purchasing services for electricity. Can I get a resolution?
Whereas Article 5G of the New York State General Municipal Law authorizes municipal corporations to enter into cooperative agreements for the performance or exercise of services, functions, powers, or activities on a cooperative or contract basis among themselves or one for the other. And whereas Section 119-N of the General Municipal Law defines the term municipal corporation for the purposes of Article 5G as a county outside the city of New York, a city, a town, a village, a board of cooperative educational services, a fire district, or a school district. And whereas the Manans Union Free School District, hereinafter sometimes referred to as participant, is a municipal corporation as defined above. And whereas this board wishes for the municipal corporation to become or remain a participant pursuant to the municipal cooperation agreement for energy purchasing services dated the first day of May 2005 among municipal corporations collectively identified as the New York School and Municipal Energy Consortium, NYSMEC, upon the terms of the agreement, and further wishes to authorize participation as an energy consumer as specified below. Now therefore be it resolved that this board hereby determines that it is in the interests of the Manans Union Free School District to participate in the NYSMEC, and authorizes and directs the superintendent of schools to sign the agreement and or the billing schedule and agreement for electricity on its behalf. And be it further resolved that this board authorizes the administrative participant as defined in the agreement to prepare, advertise, disseminate, and open bids pursuant to the general municipal law, and to award, execute, and deliver binding contracts on behalf of this board for the purchase of electricity delivered to the delivery point of the local utility distribution company for the participant's facility or facilities on a firm basis for this participant to the lowest responsible bidder as is determined by the administrative participant at a price for such commodity electricity not to exceed 9, I guess that's 9 cents per kilowatt hour for traditional pass-through energy price, or not to exceed 0.107 cents $0.107 per kilowatt hour for a fixed price, which includes all traditional pass-through energy price, or not to exceed $0.107 per kilowatt hour for a fixed price, which includes all current pass-through charges that you get billed for separately from the ESCOs for a term of at least 1 year and no more than 3 years commencing May 1st, 2026, and other terms and conditions, all as may be determined by the administrative participant, or to reject any and all such bids, and be it further resolved that this participant agrees to advertise said bid as may be directed by the administrative participant, and be it further resolved that this participant authorizes receipt of bids and offers in electronic format pursuant to section 1031 of the general municipal law and other applicable law, and be it further resolved that the officers and employees of this participant are authorized to execute such other confirming agreements, certificates, and other documents, and take such other actions as may be necessary or appropriate to carry out the intent of this resolution. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Takes us to item G, Student Data Privacy Consortium 2025-2026. I think this is the last one. Could I get a resolution, please? The last long one, I should say.
Whereas for BOCES, Onondaga, Cortland, Madison BOCES, Albany, Schoharie, Schenectady, Saratoga BOCES, Madison, Oneida BOCES, and Broome, Tioga BOCES have collaborated and entered into an Article 5 General Municipal Law intermunicipal arrangement for the purposes of improving vendor management and data security and privacy practices for school districts and or BOCES statewide, known as the RIC-1 Risk Operations Center, the ROC. Whereas the Board of Education of the Menands Union Free School District, through its affiliation with a locally based regional information center, participates with the ROC and desires for the 2025-2026 fiscal year to authorize the ROC to enter into data privacy agreements and related exhibits, DPAs, with vendors and third-party contractors that include the requirements of and compliance with New York State Education Law, Section 2-D and Part 121 regulations, collectively Ed Law 2D, related to student personally identifiable information and certain teacher and principal APPR data, whereas the ROC also partners with NICED, the Access for Learning Student Data Privacy Consortium, SDPC, the Educational Cooperative, TEC, to negotiate and approve Ed Law 2-D compliant DPAs, whereas the DPAs are present to school districts and or BOCES for final execution and do not require the expenditure of funds beyond those budgeted, and be it resolved, Board of Education of the Menands Union Free School District authorizes the attorneys designated by the ROC to negotiate and approve the DPAs for software and or technology resources, and be it further resolved that the Menands Union Free School District Board of Education grants the ROC and its designated attorneys the authority to negotiate the terms and conditions of DPAs and take such action so as to effectuate the purposes and intent of this resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Takes us to item H, business office action items, summer bus contract extension. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved, the Board of Education hereby authorizes the extension of the transportation contract between the district and STAR and Strand for the 2025 Home to School ESY summer program, subject to the approval of the New York State Commissioner of Education, and authorizes the board president to execute the agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Takes us to item I, business office action items disposals. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District accept the disposals as listed. 2 storage cabinets.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Takes us to item 12, policy. Final reading of policy. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the Policy Committee, approve the final readings of the following policies A through B as listed.
Second.
Were there any questions on these? And I know we're on final reading and Jason, you didn't have a chance to do the first reading, so do you have any questions? No. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Takes us to 13, personnel matters. Item A, personnel agenda. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District approves the updated personnel agenda item as attached.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Give Jen a second.
This evening, we have Mrs. Karen Seymour. She'll be joining us as our middle school ELA teacher. Ms. Seymour has spent time in the Albany City School District, Amsterdam, where she spent the majority of her career. Most recently, she has been doing instructional coaching, specifically in the area of middle school. She will join us in September, and we're excited to have her join us. So please welcome Karen.
Welcome, Karen.
Karen, I know that you sat through a lengthy part of our board meeting. You are more than welcome to stay for the rest of the board meeting, but please do most people quietly bow out at this point in time. So celebrate, enjoy. We will be in touch with the next steps, and we look forward to look forward to you joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome, Madam. Okay, that takes us to personnel matters, item B, substitute teachers fully cleared and substitute teachers BOCES. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby approves the reappointment of all substitute teachers for the 25-26 school year who were previously appointed through June 30th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C, letter of resignation. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District accepts the letter of resignation effective close of business July 1st, 2025 for Elizabeth Ganup.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We want to thank Ms. Guinup for her service to the district, and I know she still has a little guy here, so she'll still be around, and we wish her luck in her new position. Takes us to item 14, superintendent program recommendations, CSE, CPSE recommendations. Could I get a resolution, please?
Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Manans Union Free School District hereby approves the CSE/CPSE recommendations as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, student matters, enrollment update. Looks like we're at 294 enrolled so far for the 25-26 school year. We usually see that go up a little bit as we move into, just saying yes, definitely, as we move into the fall and even into the first few weeks of school there. Looks like our pre-K class is full with one on the wait list, so.
We are looking at last year, 20 people higher than we were at the July meeting last year.
So we may have even more this year. We'll look and see how that shakes out as we get towards the fall. Takes us to item 16, administrative updates. Item A, business manager's comments. Joanne?
I'm not here to be first on that list. But I'm like, what happened? There's so much of that saving the best for last mentality. But I'd like to, it's always a busy time at the end of the school year. And some of the things I'd like to make Board of Education aware of is that you probably didn't notice, but we started a little bit of concrete work out front. We've all noticed that some of the pavement has, concrete has settled, and it creates a safety or a trip hazard. So we are trying to portion that out, get as much done this year. The remainder we'll do in the following school year. But they started that process. It should take this week, and what it'll do is it'll correct the, trip hazard as you walk out the district office down towards the cafeteria entrance. It's kind of got a real dip there, and there's some deteriorating in the courtyard area, so they'll be doing that. The following year, we'll focus on the central part of the walkway, just to make sure it's safer and less of a trip hazard. As usual, we are working hard to get the audit done. We are doing the audit at the end of July this year. That is for both my physical and mental health. Because I think if we get it done, it's not giving large reports that due September 1st. It's called the ST3. Some of you may not know that. There's a lot that goes into the summer prep work. You'll be coming back. We'll be doing a fund balance review. That'll be in early fall. And that'll be as a result of the actions we took at the last meeting to increase our reserves and where our fund balance will be. We will make those decisions together as a board, as a governing body. And there's just a lot going on. You can always, I'm always amazed in the school that we can dump every single room, wash it, clean it, wax it, and just, it's amazing what we can get done in 8 weeks. And that's what we have.
If I missed anything, Ms. Pinalbo? No, we're off to a good start this summer.
So we are off, we hit the ground running.
There.
It takes us to item B, principal's comments. Ms. Swear. Well, she gets the fun updates, but the kids.
I know she does.
Yours are concrete.
I'm not to go first, right? That's my job. Because look at how cute that is. Can't beat that.
I don't know, it probably feels every year like ADZ just sneaks up on us, but, I couldn't believe all of a sudden it was here and there we were going A to Z. And I want to thank our committee that does A to Z because some teachers take some time out from their schedules to put that together. And it does take some thought and it's challenging to create fun, exciting activities for a K-8 building, for everyone to kind of find something they like. So if they do a nice job, if I miss somebody, Jen, let me know. I think this year it was Steph Stanton, Kara Bluski, Michelle Urban, and Carolyn Purdy. So they worked really hard to try to find, a way to get all the kids involved. So they had game days, they had freeze pop days, they had watermelon, they had superhero day. I think the dunk booth was in there as one of our days. And yeah, so they did a really nice job as teachers. Students look forward to it. It's a nice way to kind of wind down the school year. More field trips. We'll see a couple more field trips here. Field trip season is always great. The kids went to the fire station and did a nice job there. They had a good time. Were you guys around for that? No? Okay. So they did a really nice job there. The kids enjoyed it. They had a good time. The teacher said the kids were really well behaved. Had so many interesting, creative questions for the firefighters always. So thank you to the Manans Fire Department for hosting our kids. 6th grade went to Joe Bruno Stadium and saw a baseball game, and they were, first of all, got tons of compliments from people in the stadium saying that they just really represented us really well. So they also had a really great time. I think you were on that trip, right? And it went.
They cared more about hanging out with their friends than the baseball, honestly. It was very hot. She made the best of it. Yeah, I had fun and sat in the shade and hung out with each other for the day.
Yep, I got lots of these pictures, about 45 of different poses. So I got that. So. PTA pancake breakfast, feels like forever ago now, but that ended up here, even though it was supposed to be down at the park. I hope that does happen at some point. I think that will be a great event, but I wanted to thank, I know that we had our math teacher here doing algebra work to prepare our students for the algebra test on the Saturday, and you guys fed them too, so we appreciated it. They were so happy to be fed and studying algebra on a Saturday. A few pancakes don't hurt when you're supposed to be doing algebra on Saturday. Our self-contained classrooms went to 518 Play Academy. Audrey, I believe, went with them. Anything you want to share about that? Yep, you are. Oh, yeah, coming right down the. We were all very We spent 3 hours. The workers were tired. The kids slept on the bus too. They had a good time. Spent lots of time in the ball pit. The ball, lots of socks in the ball pit, giant paper socks. So. And then we go into our move up ceremonies, thank the pre-K teachers and the kindergarten teachers for their work in putting this together. Speaking of making the best out of it, this is what in the dead of our heat wave, that gym had so many parents, so many kids in it, and kids did a great job, and so did the teachers putting it together. They do a nice slideshow, they do some songs, they get their awards. Each kid goes up and talks about what they want to be when they grow up. It's super cute. We have about 18 police officers coming our way. There were lots of police officers in that lineup. A pizza delivery guy. We had a ton of great careers. Sonic, someone's going to be Sonic, so we have that to look forward to. And then our pre-K ceremony right behind that. And that was another busy event. Thanking of Ms. O for putting that together, and the kids are so cute. They get dressed up and they have a great time. So busy time. And then our 8th grade graduation, I don't have more pictures for you just yet, but we did have some come out from BOCES and they're really beautiful. Thank you to PTA for setting up the reception outside. The student speeches are really great. The crowd was great. It was really a very nice evening. So it was a positive event overall. Again, very warm, but everybody, held it together and did a really good job. Before there's a couple things that I did not put on there that I wanted to share. Thank you to PTA for the staff appreciation meal. Everyone raved about it, really enjoyed it. I think it hit the mark, having nice, cool salads when it was so warm out. So that was really appreciated. This year we did 5 through 7 awards out in the front of the school outside. It ended up being a really beautiful day for it. And each grade level went separate. So parents came and joined the kids right outside. They were able to see their kid get their award and then go, rather than be in the gym for an entire hour and a half for all of the awards, and you're just sitting there for all these different grade levels. So it was like half-hour segments, and it went really well. So the kids enjoyed it. I think it felt a little more personal. The teachers presented the awards to the kids right out in the courtyard. So that turned out really nice. We also, for the first time, did, I think it's the first time, a senior walkthrough. So our seniors from Shaker came and in their caps and gowns, and they walked through the building. They started through the kindergarten wing and walked all the way through the 2nd grade and down to the middle school. The whole building was emptied out into the hallways, made signs for them, cheered for them, clapped for them, high fives. It was really nice for the seniors to see their teachers that they had several years ago. So that was a really great event. I'm hoping to continue to do that. When we did that, our 8th graders were like, oh, me too. So then the next day, our last day, we dismissed 8th graders a few minutes early. And, I just basically dismissed them. They were the first ones out. They walked the building all the way down to the end to kindergarten, gave high fives, saw all the kids on the way out, and that was their final dismissal. So that was really nice as well. And I also just wanted to mention that we've had our last meeting, we adopted our math curriculum. We did have a full day of math PD come in to get our teachers ready to implement that in September. So it was important to our teachers that they had time over the summer looking at the curriculum and had time, to spend with it before they jumped in September. We could have done the PD in September, but then they have no time to think about it. So we kind of scrambled, got them here. And it ended up being a pretty good day. It was a busy day because every teacher K through 6 got the PD. So it was a very busy day, but we made it work, and I thank all the teachers who did cover, so the math teachers could be in here, so that worked out really well, but I think they're in a good place to start that new curriculum from the fall. And I think that's it. ESY started today, so our kiddos got off the bus today for the extended school year program. We have 3 classrooms going on right now in the building, and then our Tiger Learning in ENL starts on the 21st, and that will be for 4 weeks. Okay, thanks.
Okay, item C, superintendent's comments. Mrs. Panano.
So it is that time of year. The NISBA annual convention materials have come out. The convention is going to be October 23rd through the 25th. It will be in New York City again. I would ask you to please take a look at NISBA's website. Take a look at the dates, and any board members that would like to attend, you just need to RSVP through Trish. And that RSVP is for August 8th. If you would like to go, knowing sooner than later is better because of hotel blocks and hotel rooms and all of those kinds of things. I will say last year, the hotels did sell out in the one place that's, we weren't even in the actual convention center, we were around the corner, so it does sell out pretty quickly. So if it's something you are interested in attending, please have a conversation, let us know. Courtney and Patrick went last year, so if you would like to speak with them first before making a decision, we're happy to talk about it and let you know what it was like last year, and we'll go from there.
I'll also say taking the train down was smart. I wish I had done that by the time I thought about it. It was like the trains were all sold out too. So if you want to take the train down, book that early as well.
Mhm.
Does anybody have any questions about the conference? I know you're new, but it is helpful. There's different seminars on different topics, which might be a lot as a new board member, but I think it was helpful, right? Patrick, you went last year.
Yeah, it was definitely informative. You get to just kind of learn a lot, especially they do cater very well to new board members. So it's definitely a good experience. Cool. Yeah.
All right, takes us to item 17, miscellaneous. This is a chance for board members to ask any questions, to bring up topics they might want to see on a future board agenda, or mention community events that might be happening in the upcoming month. Does anybody have anything? Okay, the only thing I'll mention is it seems like the summer park program is happening at Manans again this year, and I'm not sure when it starts, but if anybody.
Started today,
It's
It
today.
starts today.
Yeah.
Okay.
9 to 12.
This morning was just tough, but
There's a calendar on like the Village of Manans website or something.
okay. It's free though. It's just
It is.
mornings, but it is free.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
5 and up, I think.
yep. All right, if no one else has anything, that'll take us to public comment. During public comment sessions, members of the community may address the board on agenda and non-agenda items. The board president may limit remarks of individual speakers to a reasonable time. Speakers must identify themselves and the topic on which they would like to make remarks. Does anybody have anything? There's nobody here. Is anybody online? Okay.
Summer.
Yeah, it's the July meeting, like that's the July 4th weekend. With that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Before I do, we are having an executive session. We do not expect to take action at the end of our executive session. Could I get a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Could I get a motion to enter executive session, please?
I will make a motion to enter executive session to discuss the medical financial credit